Hi, it's Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. Today's video, I want to talk about the Stoughton District Court. What happens if you're charged with OUI? Your case is going to be heard in Stoughton. So I've been handling OUI cases for years in Stoughton District Court, and want to tell you what is likely to happen when you're first arrested. You're going to enter a not guilty plea, get another date for what's called pretrial. So it takes a little bit of time to get all the evidence in the case. Most of the local departments will have some video, at least of the booking. The state police will generally have a body camera which will show the entire interaction. So after your first court date, your next court date will be a pretrial date. So it'll take some time to get the evidence, and once we get the evidence, we'll decide what the best decision for you is in the case. Let me tell you about the license consequences. Now, on a first OUI offense, if you refuse a breath test, you're looking at a 6-month suspension. If you take it and fail, it's 30 days. So it's a short suspension if you take the breathalyzer and it's over 0.08. However, they have that additional evidence against you. But you can get your full license back, request a hearing almost immediately, so you can reinstate immediately after the 30 days expire. If you refuse, it's a 6-month suspension. In Stoughton, we can generally get a trial prior to the 6 months. So if you're found not guilty, you might be able to get your license back. So consider those two things. Let's go over what happens if you take the breath test and fail. Then we'll try to get the breath test knocked out of evidence. I've won a lot of cases with breath test evidence. Just because you took a breath test doesn't mean it's accurate, doesn't mean it's going to be admissible in court. The police need to comply with the rules and regulations to show that they follow the proper procedures to get the breath test into evidence. There's reasons why perhaps the breathalyzer is wrong in your case. The breathalyzer makes an assumption about your blood-breath partition ratio. It's a scientific assumption that's just an average. It may not apply to you. Additionally, if you have asthma, acid reflux, that could potentially affect the breath test results in the case. Now, OUI cases are heavily subjective, meaning the officer is forming an opinion that you were under the influence of alcohol. Like all opinions, that opinion could be wrong. And his opinion is based on the fact that you largely failed some field sobriety tests. There's a lot of reasons why somebody might not walk and turn properly that are unrelated to alcohol. So don't assume that just because you read the report and you hear failed field sobriety test, missed heel to toe, that is good enough evidence to convict you in court. Many times when I look at the field test, I'll provide all the details that I'll get out through cross-examination of the officer that show that you weren't impaired. There's many things missing from police reports, and anything that's not in the report is typically what you did well. So I've attended a lot of advanced trainings on field sobriety tests. I know what they're looking for. The 9-step walk and turn, they look for 8 different clues. So there's 2 in the instruction phase. They put you in that heel-to-toe stance, and then they want you to start on time. Sometimes there's no mention of anything about the instruction phase. So if there's not, then I can ask the officer if you stood in that awkward stance during the instructions. If you did, it's inconsistent with somebody impaired. So you don't need to do every little thing right on these tests. I'm just looking for major observations, because all we need to do is show reasonable doubt. We don't need to win every point in the case. And that's important when you're dealing with a criminal charge, because it's the government has the burden of proof. Similarly, the one-leg stand, there's things they're looking for. Putting your foot down. Often the report doesn't even mention how long you had your foot up. The police don't tell you how long you're going to have your foot up. So that's unfair. How can you do a test when you don't know the end result of it? So there's a lot of reasons and ways that we can challenge these tests in court to show that they're not reliable assessments. So when you read your report and then we talk about the case, you'll probably have a different view of the strength or weakness of the case. I've handled OUI cases for over 20 years. I've done a lot of work out of Stoughton District Court, and that we have had great success helping people avoid an OUI conviction and making the best decisions for themselves. Now, first offense OUI, you're realistically not looking at jail time on a first offense. The worst case scenario, you'll have to do a program, 45-day license loss, and pay some fines and fees. But if you have questions, feel free, call, text me anytime. My name's Mike DelSignore, 781-686-5924. My passion's helping people arrested with OUI make the best decisions for themselves on how to handle their criminal charges.